low of 1 below, and Wednesday partly sunny with a high around 29. Experience the comfort of Nightingale, your neighborhood bar and restaurant. Enjoy American classics like the famous Nightingale Burger, ginger tamari chicken wings, and duck pastrami Reuben. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with their full menu served until midnight. Takeout also available at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting to you live from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and streaming live right now on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@TheGaily Show. This is The Gaily Show. I'm your host, JP Debragosian. Joining me, as always, in studio is our executive producer, Jim Pounds.
Hey, everyone.
And Patrick is in the control room today. Hey, Patrick.
How's it going?
It's going. We have some tickets to give away. We've got a lot, actually, that we're going to chat about today. It's going to be a more chill, chatty kind of day. We have our call-in number, 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205. There are a variety of things that you should be calling in to us about today. The first is we are giving tickets away to Brave New Workshop's production of Big Christmas Energy. I know you're like, well, wait a minute, we're already into 2025. Why should we do that? You should do that because this production is full of sketches and songs that are going to make you feel good, particularly with the incoming inauguration on Monday. So it is time to kick off the year right, to nog yourself into oblivion, and to deck the halls with reckless abandon because you know what? Why not? Performances are Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays now through the end of January. I've got tickets to give away. I've got tickets for this weekend. I've got tickets for next weekend. So call in the number 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. We'll do the third caller. The third caller will get a pair of tickets to give away. I might get really generous and just start handing out tickets by the end of the show because that's how I'm feeling right now with my feelings. Alternatively, if you go and follow us on our Blue Sky account, we're going to be talking about social media a lot today, and you're going to hear about Blue Sky a lot today. But we are at thegailyshow.com on Blue Sky. If you follow us there, I will be selecting random lucky winners for tickets to Brave New Workshop's Big Christmas Energy.
You know, the great thing about Brave New Workshop, if you haven't been to a performance there, is that the title is always sort of vague, and it allows them all kinds of latitude about what they actually are doing sketches about. You know, it's our version of Saturday Night Live, where there's a pretext, and then you can go off in 100 different directions. So don't worry too much about what it's about. The point is to have a good time and to have fun and to laugh, which goodness knows we all need.
We desperately need. So what are we going to talk about on the show today? Well, we're going to talk about a book ban in Rochester Public Schools. We're going to talk about Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some cable news here towards the end of the show. I want to hear what you think about this book ban story that's coming out of Rochester Public Schools. We're just beginning to cover it here. You're going to hear more about this because it's going to relate to a law that the state passed last year, a law banning book bans. But I think we have our first real case here that is going to determine whether or not that book ban, the ban on book bans, rather, is going to be enforceable or not, if it means anything or not. So what is it about? I want to hear you call in 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. So the book that Rochester Public Schools banned was The Rainbow Parade by Emily Nielsen. A parent was reading it to their first grader who was upset at the illustrations in the book. Specifically, there are 2 pages. The whole point of the book is a child is attending a pride parade, and there are illustrations of people who are nude or partially nude. Pause. We're going to stop right there. The publisher is a majorly respected publisher of children's books, Dial Books. Okay, so no publisher in their right mind is going to bring a book to market that is pornographic. Okay, that's just not going to happen. There are a whole slew of internal processes that go into making sure a book is appropriate for elementary school readers, particularly in today's charged environment.
Can I make a point here? What you said, somebody was offended or was concerned or whatever adjective you used. Was it the child that was concerned? I'll bet not. Was it the parent that was concerned? I'll bet so.
Single parent.
Ah,
I mean, I don't know if
oh,
they were partnered or what, but or not. It was a parent,
right.
singular, that brought forward the challenge.
They were offended on behalf of their child, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's start there. All right. So on the face of it, folks could be like, they're promoting nudity in elementary schools. Okay, no. One, Dial Books, major publisher, very well respected, brought this book to market. Then I did some research, and Booklist gave it a starred review. Now, Booklist is a major reviewer of books, and they said, I'm going to read some of they said, this welcome addition to picture books for young children directly addresses the Pride Parade and LGBTQ plus community and promotes the straightforward positive message of recognition and acceptance. Okay, so we have a major publisher of children's books, does all their internal processes, does all the work on that, brings it to market. Then you have major reviewers looking at it and going, this is so good, we're going to give it a starred review. And it wasn't just Booklist. Kirkus, Publishers Weekly, and School Library Journal all gave it positive starred reviews. Okay, so when there is a book challenged at Rochester Public Schools, there is a process for that. And so the book was reviewed by a 10-person committee consisting of community members, teachers, and media specialists.
So broad perspectives.
Broad perspective, right? They voted 9-1 to keep the Rainbow Parade in public library.
Sounds like a good, complete process. Congratulations, Rochester.
I know, right? If only
Well
it had
done.
ended there.
Oh,
The superintendent overrode their vote and banned the book. So the superintendent, Kent Peckel, in his statement, or is that Peckel? I apologize, superintendent, if I'm, with a name like mine, I am super tuned to how we're pronouncing names. So I do apologize if I've got that name mispronounced. In his statement, he said, my decision to remove the book from the shelves of one of our elementary school libraries does not constitute denial or diminishment of the life experience of LGBTQ people in any way. It is simply a reflection of my conclusion that the nudity depicted in the book is inappropriate for placement on the open shelves of a library where students as young as 5 and 6 years of age can pick up the book. Okay, so we have a publisher, major publisher, brought the book to market knowing that book was going to be in public libraries school public libraries where any child of any age can go and grab and place that book. Then you've got major reviewers who did not flag the book and go, ooh, really? We're going to have this book in our public, in our school libraries? Maybe not. Nope. All the major ones gave it starred reviews. And then you have a committee, 10-person committee, media specialists, teachers, community members, sit down, take the challenge seriously, review it, and then come back and go, yeah, we're going to keep this book. We recommend keeping this book on the shelves. And the superintendent then comes in and overrides all of that. And I guess this is we're going to be reaching out to folks to see if we can't get the superintendent to join us here on the Gaily Show or representative of Rochester Public Schools. I want to talk to other folks in that area. If you reside in that area, have a child that goes to that school, have folks work at that school at Rochester Public Schools, you can call. I want to hear what you have to say about this. The number is 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. And this is the question that I want to pose to the superintendent. On what criteria did he decide this? And I mean specific criteria, because my follow-up question to that is, based on that criteria, is he now directing all of the school libraries within the district to review all of the books in their libraries to make sure they comply with this criteria? If this nudity, which is available potentially to 5 and 6-year-olds, is inappropriate, what constitutes the inappropriateness of the nudity? And are they now doing a review of all of the books? Because if they're just singling out this one book, that's problematic.
Well, I mean, that opens up a whole can of worms. But what we're talking about when nudity is such a loaded word. What this was an illustration of somebody's bare behind, which, right? I mean, you say nudity, and a lot of people, recoil at what that could possibly mean. So we're talking about somebody's bum, at a pride parade, which, whatever you think of that is what apparently offended Superintendent Piquel, and whatever his problem is or issues are with body shaming and stuff like that is his problem. And this is the bigger issue for me, is the idea that people think they could, because of their sensitivity and the fact that they have a bad self-body image and that they don't think anybody else should, that they can impose their point of view on everybody else. And if you look at what you just said, was there were 10 reasonable people that looked at this, in addition to a whole bunch of professionals. And that's my contention. My sister is a former children's librarian in California, and we need to allow the professionals to do their jobs. And I don't care whether Superintendent Piquel is offended or not. He can be offended. He can say, well, I don't recommend you check that book out. In fact, I wish he would say that publicly. Please, Superintendent Piquel, get in the public media and tell people they shouldn't check that book out, because you know what? You won't be able to get it. So many people will want to check it out. So it's such a selfish way of thinking about the world, that your idea is better than 10 other professional people.
Well, I think I want to qualify that and say we need to understand what the criteria is that he is making.
There is any criteria.
But that's the point that I'm trying to make, Jim, is that we need to know what the criteria is, because then we need to know, are all of the other books within the library complying with that criteria? And I think this is what it's raising here is the anti-book ban law going to work? And I think here we have our first test case of whether or not, because in the law it has a vague clause, and I want to get into that. What that clause is, we're going to take a break here, and I want to tell you what that clause is, and then see if we need to change it. If here is a real challenge to what this law is, and are we violating the spirit of that law with this book ban? So quick break. Please check out the sponsors in this break and tell them that you heard about them on the Gaily Show on AM 950 Radio. More on the flip side.
Connections Radio Show is all about tapping into our hardwired hunger to connect. We examine meaningful connections to ourselves, our community, and the world around us. By opening the door to innovative insights by a wide variety of interesting guests, we'll make the connections to something bigger than ourselves. Join me, Lori Fitz, your host of Connections Radio Show, and together we'll make the connections. Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
This is JP Darbogosian here to tell you about our special live broadcast of The Gaily Show from Queermunity Monday, January 20th from 2 to 3 p.m. I will have a special guest joining me on Monday to discuss how we as the LGBTQ community can protect ourselves and support each other from Project 2025. Matt Llewellyn-Otten, Outfront Minnesota's Director of Organizing and host of AM 950's Downright Upright show, Philip Anthony, will be joining me during the live broadcast to talk about how we can come together as a community. The live broadcast from 2 to 3 p.m. will be at Queermunity, which is a resource center and social club committed to bringing the LGBTQ plus community together in the Twin Cities. Queermunity is located uptown on Hennepin Avenue, south of Lake Street above Majors and Quinn. They have a great cafe that will be open during the broadcast that has food and beverages. Join us Monday for the live broadcast and stick around afterwards to meet and mingle. Find more information about the event and community on the AM 950 radio website and the event section.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Attention event planners and festival organizers. This is Frank Brown from Minuteman Press Uptown, your union print shop partner for your next event. We're here to check items off your list and make your event the talk of the town. From stunning banners and eye-catching signage to programs, tickets, and name badges, we print everything. Get promotional products at prices that let you load up on merch and fill those swag bags. Make your event unforgettable with Minuteman Uptown. Visit us at mpuptown.com.
Hi, it's Penny from Nightingale in Minneapolis. Since 2012, we've been your go-to dining spot near 26th and Lyndale in South Minneapolis. Indulge in classics like our scallops, steak tartare, Nightingale burger, and the irresistible chocolate pot de creme. Chef Carrie keeps it fresh with seasonal dishes. We have craft cocktails and curated wines for anyone's taste. And Mondays mean half-price wine bottles. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with the full menu until midnight. Join us at Nightingale where good times and great flavors come together.
Welcome back to the Gaily Show. I'm JP Darpagosian. Our call-in number 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205, or you can chat with us on our YouTube live stream, and I'm monitoring that right now and reply to you either on air or in the chat. So clearly you can tell that this is a charged topic for us because Jim and I, we produce This Queer Book Saved My Life, which is a podcast devoted to the life-saving impacts that LGBTQ books can have. So when we see a book being challenged in a way that we feel is potentially capricious, then we want to know what was the actual standard here. Are we creating a double standard for LGBTQ books that we're not offering to other ones? And there is a clause in the Minnesota law that was passed last year that banned book banning. And I feel that it's vague enough here where it says schools and libraries have the ability to ban a book based off of, and I quote, appropriateness of potentially sensitive topics for the library's intended audience, end quote. So are we talking about a topic here? Are we talking about content, like an illustration? I think it is vague, and I worry about the manipulation that can happen here because it's so vague. A lot of different things could be shoehorned and covered under this and actually create more, just allow us to keep banning books here. So the question then raised, is this law going to work? Do we have here a loophole through which people can continue to ban LGBTQ books? If you're going to override a 10-person committee and you're going to override a book that has had starred reviews by all of the major publishing reviewers, and you're going to override a company that specializes in this, there needs to be a criteria for that. Now, I know in the break, Jim, you were saying, well, that's just setting up then. If you're asking him for that criteria, then he's going to go through all the entire library and find all those books and ban all those books as well. And my contention is, if you're going to have something, you're going to have a justification to take something off of the shelves, then you need to be consistent with that. And you also, if a superintendent is going to bring forward such a policy and criteria, it's going to have to then be debated. There's going to have to be public comment. The school board is going to have to get in there and say, well, wait a minute, is this the type of policy that we want? And does it pass snuff with the new law? So I think those are the questions that I would have for the superintendent is what is that criteria? Spell it out for us, have the board debate it, have public comment about it, and then let's see, are other books within the library being assessed for whether or not they also comply with this criteria, because right now it just seems very capricious.
Well, then I would also say, imagine being one of those 10 people who they've sat down in a room and said, we really want you to look at this and we really want you to search your brain and your heart and your values and your thoughts, and especially the people that are professionals. And I just cannot make that distinction enough. It's why we go to doctors and not, people on the street corner that have a psychiatric booth. We go to professional people to do a professional trained job, and there's no different. Librarians are trained professionals, period. Teachers should be trained professionals, period. So imagine being one of those 10 people being told, we have this process, you do your due diligence, congratulations. And Superintendent Piquel says, no, I don't think so.
Well,
the disrespect of that is astonishing.
And also worrying. So I'm reading KIMT3 News is reporting and publishing the letter that Rochester Pride has sent to Dr. Piquel, superintendent of the public school system down there. And I'm going to just read a paragraph of this because I'm stunned, frankly. They're saying, and I'm quoting directly from the letter, in response to a concerned parent who opposed this book ban, Dr. Piquel cited ChatGPT as a source that helped to inform his opinion about why this book was inappropriate based on depictions of leather outfits. I don't even like, we don't let, I worked in higher education. I was a journalist, and then I taught journalism. I advised a college newspaper. I worked in student life. I served as a chief diversity officer. We would not let our students use ChatGPT as a source.
Well, this is a well-educated person, one assumes, but I want to read from something else. This is Karen Tolkinen, who's recently an opinion writer at the formerly progressive, now terribly right-wing Star Tribune. And she said, showing utter ignorance, I guess, of children's books, that maybe the author was hoping that this sensationalistic imagery of bondage apparel, can you imagine what kind of imagination she's got? Bondage apparel and public nudity, that she was thinking those would help sell books. Well, Karen, I hate to tell you, you're a professional at a big newspaper. Illustrators usually are different from the person that writes the book, and the author has virtually nothing to say about how those things come together to promote the book. So it's a remarkably ignorant comment.
So we have a comment on YouTube that I think makes an interesting point. The username is Carrie Class. I am says on the comment, I am gay, but would we be having this conversation over banning hunting or gun magazines in a high school periodical display? Exactly.
Thank you.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. The what is the criteria for appropriateness of sensitive topics here? And it always seems to be, and I'm saying this as somebody who runs a podcast on LGBTQ books, who pays attention to book bans, who literally created the world's first queer Armenian library because I never saw myself represented in literature. And I literally did a 4-year search trying to find anything and everything that represented us and represented my community and my life experience, which is now also, by the way, at Oxford University. So that's how well that work was done.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But the point is that it always seems to be LGBTQ books that are ones that are flagged and challenged for being quote unquote inappropriate. And I think this is a really great point that Carrie is making. Thank you for doing that. Is would we be having this conversation over banning hunting or gun magazines in a high school periodical display? It is correct.
Because I don't think that's the issue. It's that it's gay. That they were at a pride parade and you see a leather outfit. When you see a leather outfit, apparently at on the Nicollet Mall, it means nothing but the context of it at the Pride Parade, where people are happy and celebrating. This offends Superintendent Piquel and Karen Torkelson, or whatever her name is, from the Star Tribune. I find that
those are folks that are constantly trying to the MAGA folks are trying to constantly paint us as we're doing pornography. We're exposing kids to pornography, which is complete bunk. And no major publisher is going to do that. No major publishing reviewers of books Publishers Weekly, Kirkus book list are going to allow that to happen. And none of our, as you're saying, Jim, none of our experts, librarians with master's degrees are going to let that happen.
I'm going to trust those people over a newspaper
No.
opinion writer and superintendent.
We have yeah, I would too. We have to fit in a break here. We'll be back and we're going to talk about social media after this break. See you on the flip side.
Tune in for Philosophy Talk, the program that questions everything.
Except your intelligence.
Coming up, the life and thought of Elizabeth Anscombe.
Anscombe helped us understand intention, morality, and philosophy of mind.
She was a complicated figure. She argued against the use of birth control.
But she also argued against the atomic bomb.
Well, I guess 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Elizabeth Anscombe, next time on Philosophy Talk.
Catch Philosophy Talk every Sunday morning at 8 on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Are you struggling with cognitive decline, post-COVID brain fog, ADHD, concussion, tremors from Parkinson's, mental health issues, or simply striving to optimize your brain's potential? Hypercharge Wellness Brain Health specifically offers cutting-edge modalities including quantitative EEG, transcranial laser, red light therapy, all which work holistically, amplifying focus and cognitive functions. Utilizing these modalities in tandem enhances neural activities, optimizes the brain's electrical patterns, reduces anxiety, and enhances relaxation, ensuring a comprehensive approach to brain health optimization. All are invited to experience this life-changing journey towards achieving optimal cognitive and emotional well-being. Call or schedule online your free Hypercharge Wellness introductory session valued at $200 today. This is your opportunity to feel the difference for yourself. No matter where you are in the Twin Cities, there's a convenient location near you. Visit hyperchargeclinic.com now. Check out our 5-star reviews on our website. Hypercharge is hope.
This is Andy Otto, your host of Twin Cities Pride Amplified. What do mini horses and AI have in common? Tune in because you're about to find out on our little bit of unhinged episode. That's this Saturday at 3 p.m. We'll talk to our very own Director of Programming, Kelsey Alto, about all the things coming up at Twin Cities Pride, and honestly, some that aren't. That's this Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
It's no secret that medical care costs are soaring, with nursing home and skilled nursing care costs being some of the highest. You don't have to deplete your savings in order to receive long-term care. At Schroman Law, we work with families to develop and implement strategic planning for medical assistance for long-term care, for assisted living, nursing home care, or home-based care. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
And you're back with us here at the Gaily Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota. We're talking about book bans here. I want to clarify for Carrie Class, who is on YouTube chatting with us. Carrie says, I do not think either the book you are discussing or the gun magazine should be banned. And we agree 100%. No book bans. No, none. Even the Supreme Court in the 80s said that kids have a right to have access to materials and that we should not be doing book bans. And that's why I am concerned that this clause in the law, are we going to abuse that clause? Is the superintendent abusing that clause and trying to put a book ban out there for a book that should not be banned? We have a caller. Philip Anthony is on line 1. Philip, hello.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm great. Congratulations on the show, first of all. It's amazing.
Oh,
you
thank
guys
you.
are doing the work. doing the work.
JP,
First of all,
JP told me I was getting a little too heated before, so I'm going to try to tone it down a little bit.
I love
I'll buy
telling
you
gay
the fire
people to
hose
tone
to
it
put
down.
out the fire, I guess. Anyway, no, I had two things to say. First of all, I hope you guys were doing your show, so I'm sure you didn't get a chance to watch Pete Hegseth's confirmation hearing for 4 hours. But
You watched it for
of the
4
words-
hours?
Oh my God. Well, on and off, I have other things to do. But he was using the word woke, and the Republicans are using it's like they're starting the attack on the LGBTQ community already. This book ban is just a toe in the water here. I don't know what they're going to do as far as the military, when it comes to anything regarding civil rights for our community, because the word woke is changing its meaning to being anti-gay, anti-trans, and anybody that's on the margins, and it's just nauseating. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a downer.
It is nauseating. I think you're absolutely right of how woke is becoming a code word for hating LGBTQ people, hating BIPOC people, Black, Indigenous people of color. I think absolutely that it's being used that way. And I wanna keep saying this, and I'm gonna keep saying it for the next 4 years. 86% of LGBTQ voters voted for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in 2024. 86%. I think that is one of the that is one of the only times in history where we have been electorally that united. I mean, for Biden, it was only like 64% of queer people voted for Biden, which also we'll get into that. But 86%. And so I want to be very clear here, because I think also, Philip, you host an amazing show here on AM 950, the Downright Upright Show, where you're covering these things on a weekly basis and bringing in guests to help us illuminate that. Ellie Krug, who has her new show, The Illegal Trans Woman, has been talking about since December, when she launched this new show, of who can we trust here? And if we think that they're going to only come for the trans and gender nonconforming and non-binary community and not the rest of us, we're going to be dumb. I mean, that's really stupid of us and naive of us to think that. What they are coming for all of us. So I don't think that you are being alarmist, Philip. And I'm a little annoyed with people that are like, oh, calm down. They're not. If you read Project 2025, it very clearly, explicitly shows all of the variety of ways that they're coming after our rights and protections. It is not, when we say they're coming for us, they are coming for us. And we're really going to have a test here about states' rights. Do states have the rights to protect their LGBTQ people and to keep the laws on the books that have been protecting them and have been outlawing book bans?
Absolutely. I just want to say another thing about the book ban. I went online when I was listening to your show, and I wanted to, I want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. And I looked, is there nudity in this book? Is there any, anything that shouldn't be seen by? There's nothing. I mean, just Google it, man. I mean, there's nothing there in this book that looks, to me anyway, that would be offensive to a child. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's me, I'm crazy, but they're making a mountain out of a molehill here, JP. And I don't know, I'd ask your listeners to go on Google and look for yourself. It's not there,
When we did an episode last year with the researchers from Penn America, both of these folks were the folks that literally sit down and they go through the numbers and they put together how many books have been banned in K-12 schools. And they will do like workshop trainings with folks who are, community members, or they're on library boards, whether it's a public library or a school library, and they will show them the book. To your point, Philip, I'm getting to that. They will show them the book and say, this book was banned because of this illustration. And the people in the room will go, what's wrong with that? That's not pornographic. There's nothing like, what is the big deal about that? And it's like, yeah, see, that's what we're talking about. It is a known phenomenon happening across the country, where when reasonable people sit down and actually look at the book, you're like, there is actually nothing pornographic about this. There is nothing controversial about this.
No, I didn't see anything. I mean, I'm pleading ignorance here because I just heard about this today from Jim. We were texting, and he said that there's something going on in Rochester about a book banning, and I'm like, okay, so let me do my research, and I looked, and I can't see anything. There's no organs exposed, nothing. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is. And it's always our community, you know. I mean, the only grooming that's happening is in certain states where they're putting, you know, the 10 Commandments in the school that children may not even be Christian. You know, they are being indoctrinated in that respect, and that's okay, though, right, JP? I mean,
but Philip, you're doing something really important. You're modeling the behavior that everybody who's at all serious about something should do, and that is, well, I'm hearing about this thing, let me find out for myself. Let me put Twitter away and go look someplace and get a copy of the book, or let me and actually look at it and make a judgment for myself like an adult. And you're doing that, and that's, and you know, I'm commending you for doing that.
Well, thank you. And I'm trying on my show, I do the same thing. I'm trying to educate, because there are people out there that are hearing terrible things about a community, what we're doing and what we're not doing. And I'm trying to put a stop to it. Everybody should be doing their own research. Okay. Everybody knows a gay person in their life, at least one, maybe, you know, and just look at that person. Are they behaving in an appropriate way? Yes. Are they nice to me? Yes. Are they, explaining their humanity to me, and I'm just a person and I'm just trying to be me? Yes. These are questions that you should be asking your LGBTQ friends. I'm supporting you as an ally. Be vocal about it. Because we need allies to support our community, because we are a smaller community than, the mainstream community. And we appreciate people like the lady that you just spoke to on YouTube talking about our community and saying, supporting us. So thank you. And, thank you to the allies, and everybody that understands the humanity of our community. So that's about what I wanted to say.
Well, yes, and who is going to continue being an ally is going to be a very, very interesting question that we're going to see
because
here.
they're trying to stop them from doing. They're trying to lure them, kind of, if that's a good word, away from supporting us and trying to, demonize us. And I hope all the listeners out there listen. Look, this is devious. They're doing this to other us, and please do your own research. Go out there and see if these things are happening. Don't listen to Twitter or whatever
Facebook
crazy place you're hearing this stuff. So
thank you, Philip, for calling in. We really appreciate it.
Love you guys. Congratulations again. It's a great show. And this weekend, I have Rena and Andy Otto on my show, so tune in on Saturday at 5.
Rena and Andy are the co-hosts of Twin Cities Pride Amplified right here on AM 950 as well, so that's going to be a really fun show. I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, love them. Hello, Andy and Rena.
Hello. Okay, so I want to imagine that you're going into a coffee shop. Lots of different types of folks go there. There is a performance space. There is a vendor space where businesses can sell their products. There are groups who come into this coffee shop where they hang out with their various interests. Whenever you walked in the door, you saw one of those signs, all are welcome here. Okay. Now imagine that you walked in there this afternoon and the all are welcome here sign has been taken down. And then imagine that you're getting a flyer from a staff member as you're walking in that says, effective immediately, that coffee shop will now allow allegations of mental illness or abnormality when based on gender or sexual orientation. Imagine that as you keep reading this flyer, it says that they now in the coffee shop allow anybody to argue for gender-based limitations of military, law enforcement, and teaching jobs. Imagine then you go up to order your coffee, and one of the staff members there tells you that people can now refer to women in this coffee shop as household objects or property or just general objects. Would you still go to that coffee shop? Because that's what's happened on Facebook and Instagram and Threads. Their parent company, Meta, has done literally everything that I just said. The difference is that it's a social media platform, not an actual physical location. But does that change how we should interact with them? You know, after the election, we saw this huge mass exodus of people from Twitter going to alternatives like Threads, like Blue Sky, like Mastodon, and other options. I haven't quite seen the exodus from Meta yet. I've seen it in my personal feeds and with my personal friends, but have not seen it in reporting that lots of people are leaving Facebook or Instagram or Threads. And I want to just kind of go beyond, because Pink News is now reporting that Meta has also removed the Pride and LGBTQ themes from Facebook Messenger. So apparently, I haven't been on Facebook for years after the 2016 election, but apparently in their messaging app, you could change the theme, the color schemes of it, and there used to be a Pride and LGBTQ theme, but now they've removed them from Messenger. So you can't use those colors anymore in your own personal messenger. And the Advocate is reporting that almost immediately after announcing their new content rules, where you can call LGBTQ plus people mentally ill, they decided that they're going to end all of their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs effective immediately. I'm just going to let that silence hang out there. I know silence on the radio is not great, but sometimes silence can be deafening, right? And I don't understand how we can continue to support a company like this. And I saw reporting, I was looking into this, there's a lot of reporting that says that businesses are not going to leave Facebook because for the business, it is you invest $1 in the ads and you get $2 back. That was one of the statistics that I saw in the reporting. So there's a lot of people that are saying, yeah, we don't like this, but it's great for my business, or da-da-da-da-da. And then my question then becomes, if you wouldn't go to that coffee shop if they started doing that, why are you still conducting business with a company, a social media company that's doing that? 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Am I oversimplifying it? Is it more difficult than that? I think for some people it is. I have a friend who was trying out Blue Sky and found out that it's actually really hard to create a private version of your account, and that there were a bunch of bots that were coming on there. More after the break.
Crooner's Supper Club invites you to enjoy drinks, a delicious dinner, and live music from both big-name local and national artists in a wide array of styles. Before or after your show, check out the new Maggie's Lounge, a perfect spot to visit with friends. It's open Wednesdays through Sundays beginning at 4:30 with cocktails and light fare. And you don't need a ticket to enjoy the great atmosphere of Maggie's. Crooner's Supper Club off Moore Lake and Highway 65. A little piece of old school nightlife in the 21st century.
Hi, this is Laura. Listen to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. or anytime via podcast. Our individual health is connected to the health of each other and connected to the health of the earth. We know the problems with the dominant food system: climate change, deadening soils, nitrates in the water, factory farming, injustice, concentration of wealth. How do we both as individuals and as a community step up and support a living food system which honors the earth? Tune to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. and remember to support your independent farmers.
At Queer Immunity, savor our seasonal menus from our chef, June Day, a James Beard Awards semifinalist. We feature locally sourced foods grown and produced by queer and BIPOC farmers. A full-service cafe offering your favorite cold brew coffees, hot teas, cider spritzes, and our very own house-made chai lattes. Start your day with our smoked bacon and egg breakfast sandwiches served on a biscuit with chipotle mayo and cheddar cheese. Vegan? Try our vegan sausage, egg, and cheese. For lunch, pair our seasonal salads and soups with a caprese panini served on Rose Street baguettes. Try one of our chickpea salad sandwiches, or enjoy the comfort of our grilled cheese with mouth-watering provolone, cheddar, and Gruyere melting on Rose Street breads. We serve sweet and savory pastries, and check out our new bar menu featuring local beer, wine, and custom double hard seltzers. Mention AM 950 at the cafe register for a free beverage with entree purchase. The Queer Community Cafe is open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. More info at queercomunitymn.com.
This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, weekdays at 5 p.m. On our show, you'll hear about Native issues like treaties, protecting Mother Earth, and holding our elected officials accountable. Weekly correspondents like Dr. Stately, State Senator Mary Kunesh, Robert Lilligren, and Bob Blake update us with the latest news from Turtle Island. Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Listen weekdays at 5 p.m. or watch the show on Native Roots Radio social media accounts. Ho-wah!
You want to feel important. You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and that you can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We felt that way too. I'm Sergeant Michael Tislin from Chaska, Minnesota, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Minnesota Army National Guard soldiers. We are people just like you, and together we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit nationalguard.com/MN to find out more. Sponsored by the Minnesota Army National Guard, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome back to the Gaily Show. Facebook, Instagram, Threads. And I say this, so I dropped my Facebook account after the 2016 election. And eventually I left Twitter earlier than the other exoduses because I saw what was happening. When they started reporting that Elon Musk bought Twitter because he thought that it made his child trans. The minute I saw that headline and then verified it and found out, no, yeah, he actually said that. That is not a misquotation. I was like, boom, gone. And we were on Instagram, and we had a business. For This Queer Book Save My Life, we have an Instagram account, and for the Gaily Show, we have an Instagram account, and I have my own, and I'm nuking all of them. So I've told everybody, follow us on Blue Sky. We're moving all of our stuff over to Blue Sky. And we have 2 Facebook. Well, we had just created a Gaily Show Facebook page, and then all this came down, and I was like, I'm sorry, no, I can't do this.
Well, the simplest way to say it is I think we did a quick accounting. I think we had about 7 accounts, and now we're on the path to having just one for This Queer Book Save My Life. So we are doing what we say you should be doing. We are in the process of shutting that down. So I think it'd be very hard to stay on Twitter and knowing what that represents. The ignorance of thinking that a social platform can make somebody trans. That is so unsophisticated thinking. It's amazing.
It is one thing to have a disagreement with folks when it is based off of mutually agreed upon facts. But when you're coming up with stuff that's just completely out of left field, and you can easily go, wait a minute, no, what are you trying to accomplish here with these lies? Which is a lot of what it boils down to. But yes, we will be leaving those platforms. You can find us on Blue Sky. We're at thegailyshow.com on Blue Sky. And we're just learning the ins and outs of it. But that being said, what I started to say before the break is that you can't create a private account on Blue Sky. Hopefully yet you can't. And I had a friend who was talking about how bot accounts and fascists were coming in there and saying some really atrocious things to them and commenting on their posts. And they had to go in and individually block people. And, we're all kind of learning what security features and privacy features there are, because sometimes, social media, you just want to go to a place and connect with your friends online and do it that way. Or on your phone, not necessarily, on a laptop. And the fact that they're taking these platforms and they are just turning it into these really offensive meaning, like, I shouldn't be dealing with going to a place where I can have hundreds of thousands of people deciding on a whim to just call me mentally ill for being queer.
I'd like to make an observation. You'd said, tons of people were leaving Twitter and all this stuff. I want to put a number.
Millions.
I want to put a number to that, because I think if you think to yourself, I just can't personally be part of that, that's fine. That's an individual decision. If you're saying, how can we stop what's happening? The actual number or percentage of Twitter accounts declined by 8.9% since he's purchased it. And that is not enough. To your point about companies staying part of it or organizations staying part of it, he needs to get up in the 20 to 25% churn rate, where he's losing a quarter of his base before he's going to go, oh, that's bad. 8.9% is not going to do it. So best intentions are not going to do it. People are going to need to say, I'm going to sacrifice something here because what's happening is wrong. I'm sorry to say that to people, because we have a business too, and we're trying to keep it going forward. And I understand that, but I would think about the fact that we're not going to get his attention with 8.9% decrease.
Well, that was 8.9% just from then. There had been a larger ongoing decrease, but no, I got your point. Your point is well taken.
Don't let yourself off the hook, I guess is what I'm saying, by thinking, oh, well, good.
Correct.
Millions have already gotten off, so I don't have to do anything. I think you might want to rethink that.
And these companies, like Blue Sky or Mastodon or Spoutable, they really have to think about, how are we creating an environment where there can be privacy options, where there can be someone that wants to go on there and just be like, I want to connect with my friends and share photos and share links and, have creative posts or whatnot, and not have to be bombarded with people who are calling you mentally ill, who are coming around and saying you are property, or you shouldn't be able to serve in the military or have a teaching job because of your gender identity, being a woman or being, queer or trans or whatever. When did social media, when did they start taking the social out of social media?
I think it's always been a cesspool, and yet
but it wasn't.
Well, I think
once upon a time it wasn't.
Really?
Okay. No, when I went on Twitter,
it was hero
originally,
worship, maybe. Yeah.
No, when I went on Twitter, that's where I met for the first time dozens of other queer Armenians who I'd never met in real life.
Right.
So Twitter did serve a function for me socially, to be able to connect with people through the diaspora, the Armenian one and the American one. And I never had that before. So it served its function. And now it's just, what do you, we're all just trying to live our lives. And some people just don't think that we should be able to live our lives. And there comes a point where, what are folks going to, they're making it a line in the sand. MAGA is drawing a line in the sand. Right. We don't think that line should be there, but they're creating that line. And so when I see a company or when I see a community college, when I see a university, when I see a business that says, hey, yeah, we're for DEI, we're LGBTQ allies, join our Facebook group, I don't know what to do with that.
Well, people want to look the other way. They don't want to give up what they already know, what they're already comfortable with. I'm like that too. I don't like to give up what I already know. We've had this discussion about moving to Blue Sky. My initial feeling was resistance because I'm a little older and I've learned one thing and I don't want to learn two things. But you just have to keep moving forward.
That's our show for today. We will see you back here next Tuesday. Up next is the Matt McNeil Show. Next Tuesday. We're going to be happy tomorrow at 2 p.m. That's we'll be back here tomorrow at 2. Matt McNeil Show up next after that, Native Roots Radio. Bye, everyone.